Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is such an honor to have you on the show. Not just because I'm a big fan of your music, but I'm a fan of how, like, just how you've created your music. You know, like you're one of the few artists where it feels like you make what you want to make just because you want to make it. It's a riskier choice. It takes, more time. Like, where do you think you got that from? In a world where so many people go, what's commercial, what sells the best? You went, I'm just going to make amazing music, and it actually has turned into a commercial hit as well.
Thank you. I think so much of my work is about world making. I think as a young girl, I felt this sense of absence of home. You know, I started actually dancing for Destiny's Child when I was 13.
Wow.
And so a lot of my life, the early years of my life, was spent in tour buses and venues and airports, and even paying attention to sort of the architectural language in these spaces. These spaces became my home. So a lot of my work is really about creating universes. You know, I'm trying to create cities on stage. I'm trying to leave behind worlds for young Black girls really to discover 10 and 20 years from now. And I think a lot of the courage just comes from seeing and creating work that I wanted to see when I was a young girl.
It's interesting that you say your music has been touched by the life that you've lived and where you've lived it, because, you know, this album in particular, When I Get Home, is beautiful when you listen to it, but I truly appreciate that you've created the short film that goes with it, because it's very rare that you get a visual representation of what your mind couldn't even comprehend.
Yeah.
It feels like it's architecture, whilst at the same time being about choreography. It feels like it's modern art, whilst at the same time being about, like, Houston chopped and screwed. It's a combination of all musics in a space. I mean, you see, like, imagery of cowboys, but at the same time in, like, a fine art space. You know, Jabuki, who loves your music here at the show, he described it to me as, he said it feels to him like Chopped and Screwed meets MoMA.
Oh, okay.
That's what it feels like.
Okay, I'll take that.
Like, how did you choose that style, and like, why did you choose to signify this album in that way?
So when I was about 10 years old, I went to this church camp, and there was a woman who came at the last day of the church camp, and she came over and started praying over all of these young girls, and they started hollering and hooting and speaking in tongues and shouting, and I was looking at her like, don't come over here with all of that, you know, like, stay away from me with that shit. But she came over to me, and I sort of surrendered to this supernatural. And so from that period on, I really actually developed a fear of power and feeling powerless and not feeling control of my body.
Wow.
And so going back home to Houston was really me reclaiming that. And the Black cowboys and their stories and reclaiming their stories. I did a fashion campaign, and I remember it was supposed to be about Americana and American Western culture. And it was all white men. And I was like, that don't look like the cowboys that I grew up seeing in Houston, Texas.
Right.
Like my uncles and the thousands of men who get on horses from Houston to Louisiana and do trail rides. And saying through this film that our Black stories are art, our everyday notions are art, the way we move and the way we speak, and just elevating the experience. And I don't know, I just feel like when I think about creating these landscapes that I want to leave behind and reimagining what the Coliseum could look like in 20 years with these bodies and these faces and these stories and these celebrations, that's what I'm trying to achieve.
I think you're achieving it more than just trying to achieve it.
You.
Really, you are.
Thank you.
Because I think that is a big part of what resonates with so many people about this album, both in the visual format and if you're just listening to it, is that it is unashamedly Black, and it feels very specific, but at the same time it has broad appeal. You know, a lot of the time people think, oh, if it's an album made from a Black point of view by a Black person about Black people, then nobody else can listen. But I mean, you've got accolades from Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, The New Yorker, Time, and so many more who've come and said, this is one of the best albums of the year. I mean, they said that about your previous album as well, but it feels like it is connected with so many people because it's authentic. Was Houston a specific choice in that? Was choosing, like, your home
absolutely
part of what you think makes it so real?
Absolutely. I think growing up in Houston and coming back to Houston, I was able to find groundedness in sort of all of the things that I might have thought were you know, mundane or that I didn't pay attention to, and coming back and appreciating the architecture, appreciating, which never left me, screw culture, the innovation between choppas and the way that we candy paint our cars, like all of that is innovation at the highest level of me. So being able to just celebrate that and pay homage to all of those things that made me who I am today, it meant a lot to me.
One thing you are really proud to speak about being a part of who you are today is a Black woman.
Yes.
And in your music, it is beautiful how you express that, how you speak with and for and about Black women. That is something that resonates with so many Black women in a completely new way. It was intentional, and you really drive it as a purpose in the album. Why did you feel that you needed to do it that explicitly? You know, some people be like, oh, I'm gonna bury the message. Like, no, here it's like, no, this is truly me celebrating the Black woman. Why?
I grew up in a hair salon. My mom owned a hair salon. I grew up with every type of Black woman, from lawyers to doctors to teachers to the everyday Black woman to the side chick to, you know, you name it. And these women were my aunties, they were my teachers, they were the reflections of everything that I wanted to be as a woman. These women cared for me, they nurtured me, they unapologetically were themselves. And they were my heroes. And so I was really fortunate to be raised by a tribe of beautiful, strong, phenomenal women. And everything that I do, I try to center myself and my purpose in the things that I needed to see and be fed as a young girl. And so all of my work really, you know, I'm making for 10, 15 years from now, and the way that Augusta Savage as a sculptor, me being able to see that work and say, hey, I can do that too. Or even the way that Khalees sort of, you know, really opened my eyes in her artistry 10, 15 years later. Now you have girls on Instagram, on the internet, paying homage when maybe they didn't fully understand at the time.
Right.
But, you know, I am a Black woman, so the work will always be through the lens of a Black woman. I think we the most poppin' ones.
You definitely have created another masterpiece. It's beautiful to listen. The best way I can describe it is like just sitting with it. It's beautiful because it feels like it is how we think as human beings. You know, it's an exploration of the mind that just goes continuously. You know how we have multiple thoughts at the same time? That's how the music feels. It feels like you're thinking about many different things that all come into one coherent space at the same time. When someone listens to the album, like what do you want them to take from it? Because you have so many messages and you have so many themes. But I know a lot of the time artists go like, I just want you to focus on this, or this is something I wish more people would pay attention to. Is there one specific theme that you think to yourself, hey, when you're listening to this album, I just want you to feel this message that I'm trying to get to. I want you to feel this feeling that I'm trying to get to you?
Yeah, I think the feeling for me is the sense of home and being able to express and create that sentiment of home wherever you are. For me, that involved me actually going back to the origin, going back to the beginning, answering those questions of power and fear and energy and spirituality. But I really want people to hear the sort of experience from start to beginning of me discovering that sense of self through home and lineage.
It's a beautiful album.
Thank
you so much for being on the show.
You.
You've done an amazing job. The director's cut of the performance art film for her album, When I Get Home, is available now on digital platforms. Solange Knowles, everybody.